Damn phones, Babylons can't crack the code.
What do YouTube? B Kelly back again with another banger video. In today's video, y'all, I'm going to be talking about what happened to the top 5 all-time Juco recruits according to the 24/7 Sports Juco Composite Rankings. Now, before I start the video, remember to smash that like button as it helps grow the channel and gets more people to see the video, and I would highly appreciate it. Now let's get on to the video. Coming in at number 5, it is safety Gerald Bowman. Now, Gerald Bowman comes out of the 2012 recruiting class, and he went to Los Angeles Pierce College. And in the 2012 recruiting class, he ranked as a 4-star recruit, number 2 national player for Juco rankings, and the number 1 safety in the nation. He held a total of 19 offers, and he held offers from schools such as USC, California, Miami, OU, and Arizona, just to name a few, and he would end up going to USC. In his first year at USC as a junior, he was primarily a backup defensive back, as in 13 games played, he recorded 11 total tackles and 1 interception. For the 2013 college football season, he would end up medically redshirting, as he did suffer some lingering injury issues, and in 2014, in his final year of college eligibility, as now a redshirt senior, he would play in 12 games for USC, and he had a really good season as he had 72 total tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss, 1 sack, and 2 interceptions. He would not hear his name called in the 2015 NFL Draft, but he would spend a short amount of time with the Baltimore Ravens before ultimately being released and not playing professional football ever since. Coming in at number 4 from the 2017 recruiting class is quarterback Jarrett Stidham. Now, Jarrett Stidham never actually played a game of Juco football, but he was still the top Juco quarterback since he was at the Juco level at that time. In 2015, before he was a Juco quarterback, he was actually at Baylor, and in 10 games played, he completed 69% of his passes, threw for 1,265 yards, 12 touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions. After spending a year at a Juco, Jarrett Stidham would then transfer to Auburn. Jarrett Stidham would play at Auburn for 2 seasons. In 2017, as a redshirt sophomore, Jarrett Stidham would play in 14 games for Auburn, leading them to a 10-4 record, and he had a pretty decent season where he completed 67% of his passes, threw for 3,158 yards, 18 touchdowns, and only 6 interceptions, as well as 4 touchdowns on the ground. In 2018, as a redshirt junior, Jarrett Stidham would not have as good of a season, but in 13 games played, he led Auburn to an 8-5 record, and in this season, he completed 61% of his passes, threw for 2,794 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions, as well as 3 touchdowns on the ground. He would forgo his final year of eligibility and declare his name for the 2019 NFL Draft, where he was taken in the 4th round by the New England Patriots. Jarrett Stidham has played 2 NFL seasons so far, both with the New England Patriots. As a rookie, he really did not play that much as he was a backup to Tom Brady, and he had 0 touchdowns and 1 interception, completing 50% of his passes for 14 yards. In 2020, he was a backup quarterback to Cam Newton. He did play a lot more, but he still struggled a bit as he completed 50% of his passes in 5 games played, threw for 256 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Going into the 2021 NFL season, he is currently battling for a backup spot for the New England Patriots, as he's more than likely going to be behind Mac Jones and Cam Newton for that season. Coming in at number 3 all-time is wide receiver Cordarrelle Patterson. Now, Cordarrelle Patterson comes from the 2012 recruiting class and Hutchinson's Community College. In the 2012 recruiting class, Cordarrelle Patterson ranked as the number 1 Juco recruit in the nation, and he held a total of 15 offers from schools such as Tennessee, Auburn, Georgia, LSU, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Florida, Miami, and OU, just to name a few. He would end up going to Tennessee. Cordarrelle Patterson would only be at Tennessee for 1 season as a junior in 2012. In the 2012 college football season, he had a very big season with Tennessee, as in 12 games played, he had 778 receiving yards, averaging 17 yards per reception and 5 touchdowns. He also did quite a bit of damage on the ground as well, as on 25 attempts, he had 308 rushing yards, averaging 12 yards per carry and 3 touchdowns. At Tennessee, he was also a pretty good kick returner, as on 24 returns, he had 671 total yards, averaging 28 yards per return and 1 touchdown. If you add in his totals from punt returns, which he only had 4 punt returns returned, he would have over 700 plus yards of just returns off special teams alone and 2 touchdowns. After this season, Cordarrelle Patterson would forgo his final year of eligibility at Tennessee and declare his name for the 2013 NFL Draft, where he was taken in the first round, 29th overall pick by the Minnesota Vikings. Patterson has played in the NFL for 8 total seasons with 4 different teams. He spent 4 years in Minnesota, 2 years in Chicago, 1 year in New England, and 1 year in Oakland. Cordarrelle Patterson has never really been the best wide receiver on any team that he's been on, as in 8 seasons played so far, he has been decent, but he has not been the biggest impact as a receiver in the later part of his career. But in 8 seasons so far, he has 2,087 career receiving yards, averaging almost 10 yards per reception and 10 touchdowns, with a catch percentage of 66%. But the thing is, Patterson is one of the best kick returners in all the NFL. In 8 seasons so far, on 239 returns, he has 7,118 yards and 8 touchdowns in 8 seasons, averaging 30 yards per kick return. Patterson has made 4 Pro Bowls and 4 All-Pro teams as a kick returner alone so far in his career. He is also a Super Bowl champion. Coming in at number 2 all-time is running back Alvin Kamara. Now, Kamara comes from the 2015 recruiting class, where he was a 4-star recruit, the number 2 player in the nation for Juco, and the number 2 running back as well. His recruitment was primarily between Tennessee and Georgia, and he would end up going to Tennessee. Also, side fact, before he was actually at the Juco level, he went to Alabama. As a redshirt sophomore at Tennessee in the 2015 season, Kamara played in 13 games, where he was the second-string running back, and he rushed for 698 total yards, averaging 6.5 yards per carry and 7 touchdowns. Through the air, he had 291 receiving yards, averaging 8.6 yards per reception and 3 touchdowns. In the 2016 college football season, his final year at Tennessee, he was still primarily the second-string running back, as in 11 games played, he rushed for 596 yards, averaging almost 6 yards per carry and 9 touchdowns, and through the air, he had 392 receiving yards, averaging almost 10 yards per reception and 4 touchdowns. He would forgo his final year of eligibility at Tennessee and declare his name for the 2017 NFL Draft, where he was taken in the 3rd round by the New Orleans Saints. Alvin Kamara has spent 4 seasons in the NFL so far, all with the New Orleans Saints, and he is currently one of the top running backs in the NFL. In 2017, as a rookie, he bursted on the scene quickly for the Saints, as in 16 games played, he rushed for 728 rushing yards, with 8 touchdowns, averaging 6 yards per carry, as well as 826 receiving yards through the air and 5 touchdowns. In his career so far, he has rushed for 3,340 rushing yards, 43 touchdowns, averaging 5 yards per carry. Through the air, he is very effective, as he has 2,824 receiving yards in his career, averaging 9 yards per reception and 15 touchdowns. Every year in his NFL career as well, he has made a Pro Bowl, and in 2017, he was AP Offensive Rookie of the Year. The final player I'm going to be talking about today, coming in at number 1, is running back Javon Robinson from the 2015 recruiting class. Now, in the 2015 recruiting class, he was the number 1 player in the nation and the number 1 running back, and he held offers from 7 schools such as Auburn, Louisville, Alabama, Florida State, and Georgia, just to name a few, and his recruitment was primarily between Auburn and Alabama, and he would end up going to Auburn. In his first season at Auburn in 2015, he would have a very big season in the amount of games he played in. He only played in 8 games, and he showed a lot of promise, as he rushed for 639 rushing yards, averaging 5.5 yards per carry and 3 touchdowns. For his final year at Auburn, he was expected to have a very big breakout season with them, but unfortunately, right before the 2016 season, he was dismissed from the team. Instead, in 2016, he was playing for Valdosta State. He would end up going undrafted in the 2017 NFL Draft and was really never offered an NFL contract. Well, guys, now that you have made it to the end of the video, remember to smash that like button, turn on them post notifications, and subscribe for more videos. B. Kelly, out.